Hello, everybody. Juan here. I really don't know how to do this video. I waited quite a while, but I'm just gonna go ahead and just let the camera roll, and we'll see what we come up with at the end here. So, on Thursday, on the 6th in the evening, around 9 o'clock or so, I believe it was a little later than that. We lost our father, my siblings and I, and we went through something that I wouldn't wish on anybody in the world. But at the same time, it was kind of nice being able to be there with him when he took his last breath. He did pass on with all his family around him, the loved ones and everything, just telling them, that it's okay, that, it's just, I guess it was just his time, I guess. And so we had the privilege of being able to be there with him and telling him that, we love him and we're going to be okay, that all of his siblings will take care of each other and the family, and we'll take care of our stepmother and my little brother and everything. And he fought it the whole way. He really did. And those of y'all that followed along and everything, you knew that he had a heart condition. So a few months back, I believe he had a pacemaker installed, and we thought he was going to be okay. I mean, he started doing therapy and started, being able to walk around quite a bit and everything. And we thought that, the pacemaker that was it. It was going to help him. And it did for a while, but unfortunately, maybe, well, 3 months after that, I mean, pardon me, um, he started having problems with his chest again. So my little brother took him to the emergency room, and there he stayed, unfortunately, in the hospital. And he didn't want to do that, but I mean, he knew that he wasn't feeling right. And, it ended up being that he had to have a triple bypass, and it was touch and go after that. Really, I mean, he would do good one day and he was responsive, and then the next day he wasn't, and it was just back and forth, and then they finally did a tracheotomy and sent him to rehab after he got a little better, and just his kidneys just gave up. I guess it was just old age, and just couldn't handle all the medication. I really don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that he left this world in peace. And those of y'all that followed along and gave our family praise, like um, prayers and everything like that, whether it be through here or through TikTok. I really do appreciate y'all. There was quite a bit of you, people that I don't even know, people that are just following me on, my social media platforms. And I appreciate that. And I try to do that for anybody that I can that is going through a similar type of situation. So, I mean, if you see someone in hurt or in pain or anything, help them out. Even kind words will go a long way when someone's going through this kind of thing. My dad was always a caring person, which is why we all try to be supportive of each other, my siblings and I. He he always welcomed everybody, and he was one of those that kind of reminds me of Red Foreman, if you've seen that '70s show, where he would gripe and complain about the neighbor kids and everything coming over. Why can't they go to their house and eat and this and that? But he always, it was just his way of showing love. It was always, our house was always the house to go to if you wanted burritos or something to eat or whatever. Somewhere to sleep. I remember one of my best friends in Las Vegas, Nevada. He always had trouble at his house, and my dad would tell him, just go to the house, go crash out there for a day or two, decompress, and then go back home and deal with your parents or whatever. My dad was just that guy. And he never meant any ill by it by saying, go, your parents are trash or whatever like that. He never did that. It was always just come here, you know, get a breath and then go back and deal with it, whatever. So he was always like that, not only to my friends, but to my siblings' friends and anybody that really needed anything family wise. If you needed somewhere to sleep or you needed somewhere to eat or whatever, my dad was always there to cater to that, and just it was always like that. And he learned that from an early age because when he was like very, very young, I'm talking like probably 12 or 13, our grandfather, unfortunately, wasn't exactly the greatest model of a person. So my dad had to kind of take over the reins, so to speak, at that age with his mother and had to feed, a lot of siblings. There was, I think, 15 of them or something. He was the oldest. And I mean, he did what he had to do for them. He'd go out and sell chicle, wash windows, whatever he had to do to make money in order for them to have something to eat that night. And, this is in Mexico, of course, and it's just the struggle was real back then. There was no water, stuff like that he had to figure out when he was. So he had to grow up in a super huge hurry, and and I think that's why he was the way he was with us. Because once he came over to the United States, he got himself a good job working heavy machinery, and it wasn't all pretty right away. I mean, the struggle was real, of course. There, I mean, we lived in a school bus in the back of his friend's house for a while, just to figure out what we're gonna do. My mom's cooking outside and stuff like that. Of course, I was a baby. I don't remember any of that. My siblings do tell me stories of that, but I mean, little by little, he started climbing that ladder to success. And for somebody that had a third grade education, he did very well in this country, and he loved this country to death. I mean, I think he would be sad by the condition that it's in now, as far as like all the people that are trying to say that we're not wanted and stuff like that. I mean, he loved this country. He loved living here. I mean, he always was kind to everybody, and he showed us that kindness. My siblings and I always have that hard work ethic, and he was always proud of us no matter what we did. I mean, I was working at Arby's, and I was the best thing, Arby's worker there was, and he was proud of that. He didn't care if it was fast food. He didn't care if it was whatever, because he did it himself. He had to do whatever he had to do to survive. And you know what? He's proud of us when we do that. Even just doing this, YouTube. I mean, it hasn't bared any fruit or anything like that, but he's always watching my videos. As a matter of fact, I was at his house this last week, and finally had the urge to maybe watch a little bit of TV, to kind of get my mind off things. And I went through his history on YouTube, and there were all my videos. He watched them all, and he was always so proud of it. Just anything we did, like he was just proud of it, no matter what. My brother, he's in landscaping. He does an amazing job there. My sister's a cocktail waitress in Las Vegas, and she's probably the best damn cocktail waitress there is. And he's always proud of that. My sister Rosa turned her life around for the better, and she's doing so amazing over there. We're all so proud of her, and my dad was too. My little brother, he does what he does with he's a furry, and he does social media and stuff like that. And you know what? My dad was always just proud of that. He'd always talk highly of everybody. So it's really just nice to know that he was just proud of us, and no matter what we did, and we all had our ups and downs. I mean, everybody does. I mean, I wasn't always, in a good spot in my life, and a lot of us just went through the same stuff. But you know what? We had his work ethic and his will to survive, and he just really did instill that in us. And we thank you for that, Dad. Like, for reals. And hopefully you're watching this. Hopefully they have YouTube up in heaven, so you can sit there and continue to watch my videos and just sit there and channel surf. Go fishing and do all the stuff that you love. And those of y'all that are wondering why I'm wearing this silly hat, well, it's not really silly to me right now, because this was his choice of beverage, his beverage of choice, I'm sorry. He would have a one or two a day and just hang out. He always had his little refrigerator stocked full of the Bud Lights, so that's why I'm wearing this. So I'm not really trying to be silly. It's just something to kind of pay homage to him a little bit. He really did enjoy that. But but yeah, I mean, unfortunately, he has passed on, and we're gonna have to keep going without him. As he would always say, síguele a la vida, síguele a la vida, mijo. Tú sabes cómo. And that kind of just means that you just continue with life. You know how to. And he would always just tell us that even before he passed on. I think he kind of had the talk with all of us, saying that if I'm not around, I want you guys to celebrate my life. I don't want you to cry for me, but it's hard not to. And it's easy for someone to say that, but of course we're gonna miss them. And anybody that passes on in our life, that are loved ones, we're gonna miss them. And of course we're gonna grieve a little bit and cry. So to me, it's a little unfair when someone says that, but I understand what their meaning is. It's like, hey, I want you to celebrate and have a good time and all that, and we're going to. We are, but it's sad. It's hard to say that I can't pick up that phone once a week and, hey, Dad, how are you doing? Like, what's going on? What are you doing? Him telling me about the projects he's working on as far as woodworking, because he started learning woodworking a few years back, and he was really proud of his progression in that. I guess was, he started from barely learning to all of a sudden he's making these little intricate pieces, and he was always very proud of that. Every time we would visit him, he would always walk us through and show us what new stuff he was working on. We're like, oh, that's cool. And of course, it was always something for us. Like he would make little boxes for my wife and the kids, or like little toys or trains, and like, the family lettering and stuff like that, which I still have. You know, just stuff that he gives you as a gift because he made it and he's very proud of it. And we're always like very warmed at the heart when he would do that for us. So I do appreciate that, Dad. But I don't know what else to say. I mean, he was just an awesome person. He taught us well. He raised us well. I mean, he's up there with Mom now. My mom passed away many years ago. Our mom passed away many years ago, and maybe he's up there now. They're discussing you know how we are, how we're growing up, and all that stuff. And you know, his wife now, I'm pretty sure at some point, way later in the future, will join him, and it'll be one big happy thing. That's where we all end up, right at the end. It's just it's kind of a sad thing to let go, but then you just start to remember the good things and all that other stuff, and you have to realize that life does go on, and someday we'll be on that chopping block, I guess. And you know, it's easy for me to say, "Don't cry for me" and all that stuff, but I know there'll be grieving and there'll be sadness, but then eventually you realize that the person that left us, maybe God needed them for whatever reason, and stuff like that, and that's all how we have to think of that. And my dad at the end he was in pain and all that stuff. So in a way, it's kind of comforting to know that he's not in pain anymore. He's not hurting anymore. He doesn't have to worry about bills anymore. He doesn't have to stress over Trump. He always stresses over that guy. He's like, oh, la novela Trump. The nightmare of Trump or whatever he wants to call it or whatever. He always fussed about that. So he doesn't have to deal with that anymore. And all we can do is think back and think of all the good memories we had with him and enjoyed with him and all that stuff. And those of you that are family that are watching this or do watch this and everything, you've made it this far in the video. If y'all can do me a favor and in the comments, leave a little story that my dad did for you or how he may have touched your life or whatever and this and that. And just kind of do that so everybody can kind of understand the legacy that he left. Because I don't know all the stories because I wasn't there for all of them. So maybe y'all have different stories than we do because we weren't there or something, because I know that he interacted with everybody, my uncles, my aunts, my cousins, and everybody that he could possibly help. So if y'all could do me that favor, then, that way there's some stories there that maybe are from a different perspective. But all I can say is that he loved fishing. That was like his favorite thing to do is fishing, whether it be the ocean, the freaking lake, a river, wherever it was in driving distance, as my brother would say. He would drag us along and go fishing and camping. So he really did all that. He had a huge love for his family. I mean, he grew up rough. Grew up having very little. So I think his way of compensating for that was to work as hard as he could for as long as he could, just so that we wouldn't have to go through all that, like how he did. And I appreciate you, Dad, for just being that guy. Being the solid man that you are, that you were. We're gonna definitely continue on your legacy in that way, and work hard in our life, whether we're doing whatever, construction, food, landscape, waitressing, freaking, working in a factory. It doesn't matter, doing suits for furries and all that. It doesn't matter what we're doing. I know that you're proud of us, and we love you, Dad. And like I said, if there's anything that I might have missed, family that are watching this, feel free to add it. But this is just kind of my way of letting everybody that has been on the journey let everybody know what's happening. And I love you, Dad, and we'll see you in the next life. And those of y'all that haven't subscribed, consider doing that. Just that way you can follow on, continue to follow along on our journey and my journey. Those of y'all that don't know, we are going to move to Vegas here in a couple of months, my family and I, and we'll be reuniting with my sister and my stepmother, my little brother, and all that stuff. My older brother's pretty close; he's like about 3 or 4 hours from there, and then my older sister will be the only one that's she's in Missouri, but that's something that at least we can fly down there and see her and all that stuff, and vice versa. But other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and close this up. Um, there is a GoFundMe for my stepmother and my little brother for medical expenses. So any of y'all that are interested in doing that, I will put the link in the description in the video. And then that's it. Like I said, we lost our patriarch, and we're gonna be grieving for a while, but we'll get through this. We will. We always do. But those of y'all on YouTube, love y'all. Thank you so much. As I called my father in the hospital, have a wonderful day because his name was Juan. Wonderful. And we'll see you guys in the next video.